You are listening to Draw 4 Podcast. Good tidings, and thanks for joining us.
My name is James Kelly. I'm a member of the production team here for Draw 4. I play Modern and Casual.
My name is Joshua Kelly. I'm James's brother, obviously, and I also am a member of the production team, and I also play Modern and Casual.
Alright, we are going to be discussing the banned list of Modern. Now, necessarily, this is a subject that usually is taken care of by a lot of big-name content creators already on YouTube for Magic the Gathering and stuff like that, and I know there's been tons of articles written about it in the past. We're actually taking a different kind of approach to it. Time to go into the upkeep. Untap, upkeep, draw.
We've already kind of hinted at this, so we're just doing a ginormous discussion about an unbanned banned list. We wish to say that this isn't necessarily us voicing an opinion about it just being like, hey, let's just unban everything.
Yeah,
no, far from it. But we are continuing the ever-continued discussion of unbanning certain cards and seeing how they would handle the modern environment, because one thing that always pops up is that certain cards weren't given a long period of time in the modern format.
If any at all, because I know some cards just immediately, when they got announced that they were created, they just got banned outright.
But it's just to say, hey, let's at least give them a fair chance and just throw them out into the Wild West that is modern format nowadays. As content creators like Card Kingdom and Force Bear Studios have shown, these cards can be beaten if planned out properly.
Melissa DeTora had done an article for TCG Player and actually had went on to say about how a shop in her area does unbanned modern tournaments every month, and they feel that it is a very fun format to do once in a while, just to say, hey, it's fun to play around with these all-powerful and very, very potent cards. That's why they're banned. They had also mentioned that, hey, playing with these every week would be boring and very, very not fun.
It would be a very stagnant format, even though it's also a very diverse format. But let's keep an open mind about this, and let's get into the list of our opinions on certain cards. So, starting with the big blue baddie, it's Jace the Mind Sculptor, the guy that has recently been reprinted in
Eternal Masters.
How can we say this? He's been interesting, because he basically has Brainstorm, Unsummon, and just the nastiest ultimate I've seen for a Planeswalker. Even with new Planeswalkers that keep coming out, his is just no.
Yeah, that neg 12 can definitely be deadly. He is definitely a very interesting Planeswalker to deal with. He is slow himself. He's, 4 or 5 mana? And he has 3 loyalty counters to him?
Yeah.
So, to try and build himself up, like his 0 ability and +2 or -2 ability, those first 2 abilities are usually what goes on. And then that neg 12 is just, oh boy. Necessarily, he is scary whenever he's out on the battlefield, but he can be killed, usually by Dreadbore. There was also a black card, I think it's 1 and 2 black, that can destroy target creature or planeswalker.
Ruin His Path, Dreadbore, and Hero's Downfall can all kill Jace. However, you can also just ping him for damage with your creatures.
Also can negate him before he resolves. He's a spell. So, yay, negate, mana leak, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, you can counter him. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of a foreshadowing of the things to come. But let's just say blue kind of would be...
Yeah, that or anything within, pretty much Jeskai killers.
Yeah, if you really think about it, Jeskai can be the one to beat it.
Because Path to Exile, any blue counter spells, anything that can blow up stuff.
And a lot of red spells can deal with most of the other creatures that are going to be on the list. But anyways, moving on to a slow card. Not the slowest card. We'll get to him in a moment. But
Sensei's Divining
Sensei, another card that was reprinted in Eternal Masters.
Yep. Still prefer the original one myself, just because
the Kamigawa art.
Yeah.
I forgot. Did it get rare shifted or no?
It did get shifted to rare. It wasn't uncommon in Kamigawa.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it did get rare shifted.
Okay.
It did get rare shifted.
But point being, though, it is slow, especially if you don't know what you're doing with that card and a deck.
If you yourself as the player of this card do not know what you're doing, you're screwed.
Your opponent now has the ability to take those cards out of your deck and say no play.
However, if you do know what you're doing, then you slow the game down for your opponent, which is also just as bad. Pretty much artifact destruction can kill it. Again, blue can kill it as well. So Stony Silence would be good. Again, negates, mana leaks, anything like that.
Anything with artifact hate or anti-artifact stuff like Naturalize.
Oh yeah.
Naturalize can deal with it, no
Nature's
problem.
Claim can deal with it
Nature's
too.
Claim. Just a lot of stuff can deal with a lot of the artifact stuff that's going to be in here. Speaking of artifacts, the artifact lands are next. Yeah, I mean, really, do we need to say any more? If the artifact lands were unbanned, Affinity would get an even bigger foothold than what it already has. So, no.
Just no. It
Just
almost
no.
destroyed the game itself entirely.
Thanks, Affinity. You did that almost twice.
Second Sunrise.
Eggs.
Eggs, yeah. Hot Dog Incident. Do we need to say any more?
Eggs. No. Second Sunrise. No. You stay banned.
Half-hour turns. No.
No fun.
Give up hope, ye who enter here.
It can be countered, though.
It can be countered, but it's just annoying as shit.
You're gonna get bleeped so hard.
I don't care if I get bleeped.
Okay.
I don't care. Like, to be honest, this is one of those things where it's like, you gotta weigh personal hatred or personal disliking of a card or its abilities.
So you
versus-
do have a card you hate.
Like I said, prevent interactions with opponent cards I hate. So thus, it.
Anyways.
That is clumped into it. When I was saying that in the last episode, that involved eggs too.
Okay, Birthing Pod. Let's just say these next two have diversity issues, and they basically caused a lot of diversity problems for quite a few years in the pro scene.
The next card we'll get to in a second, but Birthing Pod itself, I remember hearing this from a bunch of people, both content creators and people on campus and around our hobby shop that we go to. They had said that when Birthing Pod got banned, a lot of people, that was the only deck they ran, and they just give up. They just stopped playing Magic. Either that or they've shifted to a different format.
Or you did like the most sensible people did, and you just basically said, hey, I'm gonna run Podless Pod and use this new card that basically killed this card. Rhino!
Yay, Rhino!
Yay, Siege Rhino, even though you're $1 now.
It's still a good card. It's worth that $1. Invest into it.
Invest into Siege Rhino. We're not MTG line. We're not invest experts in Magic cards, but
still, Rhino. It's good for what it does. It ran rampant in Standard for a reason, Josh. I'm sort of surprised it hasn't run rampant in Modern, but at the same time, you know.
Their responses in Modern, James. It's Modern. It's the Wild West.
Yes.
To the next card that caused diversity issues, Splinter Twin.
I heard a lot of people say whenever they tried to avoid it, especially with Izzet, Grixis, or something like that, they just couldn't. They tried to avoid it as much as possible, but they knew in their hearts, some point in juncture, their deck had to have Splinter Twin in it just because of what it did. So thus, diversity issues once again. Yes, you can counter it, but at the same time, once it goes off, diversity issues just go down the toilet.
Yeah, and also just for those people that don't know, yes, there is Kiki Jiki to be able to keep up the twin decks and everything, but you're also forgetting a little card called Twin Flame, which does the same thing. No, you can't put it on Isochron Scepter because it's a sorcery, but it still does the same thing, and you can also do it on multiple creatures. Yes, you have to pay 3 extra mana to do it on extra creatures, but still, you at least have another option for Twin. Just letting you know also it's 37 cents, by the way. Next card on the list, Chromemox, and I can just say that's another card that can go die in a fire because, yes, you can blow it up. Not on the beginning of the first turn, though, because free mana just to sacrifice something from your hand to be able to get this thing to give you a free mana of that color, no. Early game, this thing can be an SOB. Late game, you can blow it up. Next card, Blazing Shoal, and I'm just going to say this now, big buffs for cheap. It can go in Infect, Burn, Storm, Jund, any other countless shenanigans that you can think of.
Jund it out. That's pretty much where it was either Gruul or Jund.
Or is it?
Depending upon the ability, but Blazing Shoal was definitely in Jund and Gruul.
Next card is Cloudpost.
Cloudpost! I honestly have no idea what Cloudpost was banned for, because all the locusts... What the hell is this?
It's one of those cards, I know the reasons why it was banned. It was banned because of being able to get 15 mana just easily. And it's just, you can blow it up with a Ghost Quarter, you can blow it up with a Stone Rain, you can blow it up with any other land destruction you could think of in Modern. Blow it up with a Johnny Vengeance if you wanted to. But Cloudpost is just one of those cards where it's really one of those cards that I don't see why it was banned, but at the same time I can. Unlike this next land, Dark Depths.
Flying 2020 indestructible thing.
Yeah, we're not dealing with Merit Liege. We're not
Merit
dealing
Lage.
Merit Lage. Whatever.
However it's pronounced.
Merit Lage, Merit Liege.
Tomato, tomato.
Tomato, tomato, giant 2020 thing that's indestructible and flying. No.
Did Tora went on to actually say that there was a reason Dark Depths was banned? Any and all deck lists that ran anything with Dark Depths in it pretty much just took over.
It was Vampire Hexmage, Thespian Stage, and Dark Depths. The next card on the list, now we're starting to get into some lighter colors. Green with Glimpse of Nature.
Ew.
Just all the ew.
That seems to be our favorite word with episodes, depending upon what is being discussed.
But yeah, Glimpse of Nature though, I mean, come on. You can play it along with another card that's on the list that's for obvious reasons. Hard drawn green. It's great, but when it's this, and you can play it with elves, and you can play it with Jund, just, you know. Just no.
Yeah, no. Unfair and annoying. Fun when you can play it, but unfair. And can be countered, but at the same time, you know.
Can be countered, it can be blown up, it can be disenchanted. It's just one of those cards. Speaking of another card that can be countered, there's quite a few of them that can be countered. Dread Return. I'm not gonna lie, it's one of those cards I keep forgetting is banned. But at the same time, I've seen this mostly ran in zombie decks or any token-based strategy. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna return a big giant baddie that I sacked from my hand or had to discard. I'm gonna sack 3 tokens, get my giant baddie back out, and just wreck face. It can be countered,
But it's so annoying.
it's so annoying. And speaking of counter spells, Mental Misstep. A counter spell for free? All I have to do is sign my name in blood and just pay 2 life? No! There is literally nothing, except for maybe a mana tithe, that can beat it.
Judge is familiar if you get it out.
Yeah, but even then,
But it's whatever.
it's like there's options to deal with it, but not too many options. Unlike this next card, there is like literally no option that I can think of except for blowing it up. Hypergenesis, because a modern sneak and show deck is just no. Just all the no.
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 There's a reason why it got banned, and there's no other reason that it should be unbanned. Anyways,
Deathrite Shaman, a 1-mana planeswalker, can die to removal, it can get blown up, it can get exiled. There's options for it, and Jund is basically another theme of why there's a lot of stuff in the modern ban list. Speaking of blue, card draw cards. Ponder, Preordain, Dig Through Time, and boop boop. Treasure Cruise. Card advantage. Yes, they can be countered, but here, have some card advantage. No, we already have Serum Visions, we have Taxium Probe, we have a lot of options. We didn't need more of them. Especially ones that involve sacking stuff to exile from your graveyard.
yay, Delve.
It literally put the Delve in Delver.
I know that's what you had said as soon as it rotated out of standard.
Because I had fun
Poop.
playing with Treasure Cruise, and it was sad. I'm like, it was sad boat noises.
All the sad boat noises. I'll have to make a photo of like a sad emoji face on the Treasure Cruise ship.
Or a tugboat.
All the design ideas are coming to a head.
Anyways, the next card.
Ayavugan.
Ayavugan. Eldrazi 2016. Eldrazi 2016. Need we remind you?
I stated this in a few Facebook comments and even on YouTube at one point in juncture. As a Tron player, I had no issues with the ban of Ayavugan, but when I saw the frickin' deck lists that were going around in Atlanta, I got mad just because of how disgusting that strategy was.
The next card on the list, going from extreme hatred to rather meh.
Umezawa's Jitte.
Yeah, Umezawa's Jitte. I don't know.
A lot of people.
It's kind of meh to me.
A lot of people have been debating bringing that back, but it's just Yeah, like, Umezawa Jitte, a good card, and can be fair. Again, dies to a lot of artifact hatred or anything that says, hey, screw you abilities, you can't be done. No fun for you.
It's just rather meh to me, just looking at it. Unlike these next few cards, Seething Song and Rite of Flame.
Ew.
Mana advantage. Yes, they can be dealt with counters, and they can be negated. But, I mean, we already have Desperate Ritual, we already have Pyretic Ritual. We don't need more mana. Especially with Storm decks, especially with mono red stuff.
Yeah, that could be a bad strategy if it became an unbanned thing, because, like, easily, Lightning Bolt, Goblin Guides, and just a bunch of one-drop beat-face stuff, and then there you go. You had even said, too, Vexing Devil could be good in that kind of a strategy.
It's like, yes, let me just take 2 mana, play 2 Goblin Guides, 2 mana, play 2 Vexing Devils, 1 mana to play a Lightning Bolt.
Have fun!
Yeah, let's just have fun by dumping my entire hand out.
Yeah.
Next card. This one I don't feel like it should ever be unbanned.
Ever.
Skull Clamp. Again, another card for Affinity to be able to abuse. No, it can be destroyed.
Again, artifact hatred or countering it.
And speaking of continuing with artifacts.
Actually, hold up for a second. I actually remember a story a long time ago. Whenever Skullclamp got banned, if memory serves correct, they had went ahead and printed Mental Misstep as sort of like an apology for making Skullclamp because it ran Savage with Affinity whenever it got,
Started up.
Yeah, what kind of reconciliation was that for the players?
It's like, yes, let's just make 2 banned cards. Anyways, continuing with the conversation of artifacts. Stoneforge Mystic, something that can die to removal, but if you don't have any responses, which I don't see how, because there was a lot of responses, you are just basically giving them free shit. Here you go. Let me just put out this uncounterable artifact that can then proceed to beat your face down, and just, there's nothing you can do about it. I don't know. It's just Affinity. One of those decks that I have a very strong hatred for.
Chill, bro. Chill.
Anyways, another card that everyone in the recent year has started to hate.
Summer Bloom.
Summer Bloom.
I know that was one of the most recent bans, but it needed it, especially with the Amulet Bloom strategy that was going around too. Like, holy crap, mana acceleration like crazy.
Mana acceleration. It can be beaten by other disenchant spells, but it's just a pain to deal with. But at the same time, I'm surprised that this didn't go along with the next card and the next 2 cards in the list, actually. Bloodbraid Elf. And again, continuing with the little thing that we have going on. Yes, cascading into another Bloodbraid Elf or a Goyf or a Deathrite Shaman or just anything you can cascade into with this hasty Cascader. Granted, 4 mana, it can die to removal. This is one of those cards that everyone feels like it should be unbanned, but at the same time, I'm starting to see why it shouldn't be unbanned.
I went through all the deck lists and just looked at the cards from the Datora article, and just, holy crap, Jund and Storm and all that stuff. She broke it down to aggro strategies, control strategies, and counter stuff. And basically, combo strategies were inconsistent. Aggro is aggro, duh. And then control strategies, they also had their hits or misses, but were decently better than combos. Like the combo decks, if you got the combo, you were perfectly fine and could kill someone by turn 2. If you didn't, you were screwed. But, like, with Bloodbraid Elf, it took advantage of Seething Song, Rite of Flame, and stuff like that. Sort of surprised, like you had said, that it didn't go with Summer Bloom, but of course, it was banned by that point in juncture.
And the last card on the list, another green card.
Green Sun Zenith.
More card advantage. It and Glimpse of Nature. It's just,
ew.
And you can shuffle this back into your library.
Ew. It can be countered, as usual, by negates, mana leaks, all that fun stuff. But, if it goes off,
it goes off. Okay, so in conclusion, we'd basically all be playing stuff that blows up everything in counterspells, so we'd probably be playing blue-white stuff for Jeskai, and it would be fun at first, and not fun by week's end. So that's where we stand on the whole banned-unbanned list.
Definitely just going off of what Datora said. If you play it for fun, or just every once in a while, then yeah, you can go ahead, have an enjoyable time with it, but...
Other times, no.
Yeah, no, just, they're banned for a reason.
Yeah. Bans are bans for a reason. And moving on to the Manaleaf article of the week. And this one is by Rebecca Rose, entitled Mental Magic, Anxiety, Fear, Doubt, and Depression, and That's Okay.
It is okay.
It is okay. We're not saying that all the time it's okay, but if you can fight through it, or you can manage depression, anxiety, fear, doubt, and all of that, you'll be okay. However, just as a little side note here, if you need help, there are groups that can help you. So if you really need help, reach out. Even if you don't think no one will listen to you, there are people that will listen.
Well, listen.
Back to Magic. It's okay to deal with the anxieties of how your decks are doing or how you are playing your game. There's fears and the doubts. It can suck you dry of any emotion in a competitive game, or in Rebecca's case, going to a GP and not doing well in the main event. It's like you do good, you do bad, and then it just gets emotionally exhausting. This game can be exhausting, especially during like main events for GPs. You play 8, 9, 10, 11 games over the course of a day, and then you have to multiply that by 2 or 3, considering rounds and how many games they go off of them. It's taxing on you.
That's why a lot of people say, make sure you have plenty of water, make sure you have food. You gotta take care of yourself. This is harkening back a little bit to points we had made in the episode with Henry.
Yeah.
We haven't personally been to a GP before or any big event like that. But, you gotta watch yourself mentally as well. If you need to, drop, you just need to drop. Think of your own personal well-being first before the game.
Yeah. There are still side events that you can go play, or if you wanna, you can just grab your friends and just go to an empty table if there's any and just play. Enjoy yourself. You're at a GP. You can go meet with artists. You can go to the vendors. You can talk to other players. You can get ideas for decks. You can just have fun. You're at a GP, for God's sake. It's one of those things where you treat yourself.
Treat yourself before you wreck yourself.
And don't wreck yourself too hard by playing this game. This is one of those things. I actually have a great example of this. When Shadows over Innistrad first dropped, our comic shop that we go to at campus has pre-releases. And we did Shadows over Innistrad, and one of my best friends, we've gotten her into Magic, played it, had fun, and we're like, hey, why don't you come with us? This will be your first pre-release. You can have fun, we'll have fun, we'll all be playing Magic, we're all going to be here, everything will be fine. And she's like, okay. So we get to playing it. By the way, the promo card she pulled was Avacyn. It was Archangel Avacyn. She was one of the few people that I knew from the night, seeing people all over the internet that pulled one. So she had that, so she was really happy for that. But then as the night went on, I went to check up on her, and she was literally crying because her deck, and it was a decent deck too, I looked through it, it was a nice Boros deck, and she's like, it's not winning. I'm like, well, that could be for multiple reasons. It depends on how fast you're going or how slow you're going, and also your matchups. But don't get discouraged. You'll probably break even, at least considering how your track record's been over the course of the night. And she calmed down eventually. And so that was the anxiety and the doubt kicking in. I mean, believe me, I was going through the night being very doubtful of myself. I lost a round of Magic to a guy that had just started playing that morning.
Again, it's both skill and luck with this game. But if you're not in the right mental state for it, your skill drops and you just rely on luck. If your luck runs out, but you still got skill, then you're fine. If you don't got both, you're freaking screwed.
It's very mentally tasking how this game is. Whether you're not doing well, whether your deck's not doing well, whether or not your matchups are going well or not. It's just one of those games where you have to be quick on your feet, but at the same time, you also have to carry your emotions and your feelings on your sleeve when it comes to this game, because along with your brain, you also play with your heart. And this game, as glorious as it is, 20-something years strong now, it can still wipe you out.
Both financially and emotionally.
So that's pretty much what had happened to Rebecca throughout the article, was just her talking about her experiences at GP Manchester. And reading the article, it literally shows the roller coaster of emotions you can go through in a night, or even in a weekend. But we also got to remember, it's okay to go through those emotions.
Yeah.
Not severely, like we'd stated earlier in our little PSA. But at the same time, you do go through those roller coasters. You just have to strap on and hang on for dear life and hope that you make it through the end. I mean, in Rebecca's case, she wound up dropping from the main event with a decent record, I might add. And she wound up just doing side events for Modern and Legacy and Cube. And she wound up just having fun when she took into account that there's more than just playing the main event.
She even met one of her favorite players.
Yes, she did.
We had the community topic to discuss, and me and you actually had a decent conversation about this.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
It is discussing what still draws you into the game despite knowing everything else that goes on. And this was actually a topic of conversation that you had brought up.
Yeah.
It's basically, what keeps you fascinated by this game? And like I had said, despite everything that goes on with it. And my answer to Josh was essentially, despite all the deck techs that are out there, especially even Modern, which is our format, so I say that a lot, but with the Legacy and everything like that, they have their stuff to do. But in our case, it's Modern, so we have, the meta the way it is now. You still find strategies that are just like, they're out there in left field that are the fringy decks, and I'm a fringy kind of player too, so I know how it is. But it's just like, you get surprised as to how everything goes with it. So that's what fascinates me about it, is the different kinds of deck techs, despite all the numerous ones that are already out there. Josh, I don't know what you've got.
In my case, as I talked with James over this last night, to me, it's his viewpoint on it, but also in my viewpoint, I'm still fascinated by everything the game has accomplished so far. From the 2 times that Affinity almost broke the game and no one wanted to play anymore, to the Power 9. The first time I heard about the Power 9 when I first started playing this game, I was so drawn in by what these cards all did and the fact that they were even made. It just still blows my mind to this day. Not as much, but still, just the fact that it can still hold that fascination and wonder that cards like this were even made, and just the history of the game. It all fascinates me, and that, to me, that's what keeps me drawn to this game, is just what can we see into the future of what's going to happen with this wonderful game that has been going on for 23 years now, going to be 24 soon. And it's still got a hold on anyone that has played this game, even once. Because I remember talking to a couple of friends of mine that had heard of Magic, and they had played Magic like 1 or 2 times, but they were still drawn into it, even though this was 5-6 years later after they had stopped playing it. They said, I still had fun. It's just too expensive for me. But just the fact that even though they only played like 2 times, and it still had a foothold on them, to me, that is one of the greatest fascinations with this game. For your responses for the community question, post them up on manaleaf under the comment section, YouTube on the comment section, even SoundCloud whenever this gets dropped off, because I know we go through that as well. So just let us know what you all think about what still draws you into this wonderful game that we play. My name is Joshua Kelly. I'm a member of the production team here for Draw 4.
I'm James Kelly, his twin.
This has been Draw 4 Podcast. Until next time, we wish you good fortune, and may you draw well.